Aye.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's exactly 10:11 this morning, and welcome to our regular board meeting today, June 18th, 2025. Let's call this meeting to order, please. Let's do a roll call.
Carolyn Tennyson, Board Secretary.
Bailey, CLD Investigator Supervisor. Margaret Guerrero, CLD Administrative Assistant.
Vince Ariola, Director, DPW.
Matt Cruz, member.
JP Ogden, Executive Director, CLB.
Bernard Benavente, Board Chairman.
Marcus Benania, COB Investigator.
Andrew Mesa, COB investigator.
They have this name, because there's two members.
We have Ms. Rita Porha online, attending via Zoom.
And your guest?
Hi.
Oh, do I
Yes,
introduce
yes,
myself?
yes, it's public record.
Oh, okay. Hi, morning. My name is Ken Critchfield. I submitted a letter of inquiry late last week,
Yeah,
and I just wanted to stop by and see if there was any information available.
we have,
Might have been kind of late, but.
it's all right,
Thank you for coming.
thank you.
Okay,
Jonah Benavente, Guam Daily Post.
state your name again, sir?
Jonah Benavente, Guam Daily Post.
Thank you.
Welcome.
You're welcome. Okay, let's move, item 3, we have the affirmation of the public notice, for June 11 and June 16, 2025. I have it in my hands, and it's been published out to the newspapers. Any questions? Anybody have any questions?
You know, it meets all requirements for public notice.
Okay, item 4, review of minutes for the board meeting held on May 21st, 2025. Please review, and if you have any questions, please bring it to the table.
Are we following up, Miss Techer? Tecker?
Terry.
Yeah, the,
How
he
did-
already paid, the citation has been paid by the contractor already.
So is that closed or what?
Yeah, it's closed.
Okay,
We sent a letter to both parties about the closure.
okay.
So we don't wait for any judgment from the court?
Oh, that is a separate matter.
That's a civil matter.
Yeah, they can come back again if there, something happened to that, reopen the case.
Okay.
Excuse me. That's gonna move it as well.
Marge is concerned about the attendance last week meeting
Yes.
because it's not Lily that's present, it was her.
Oh, my apologies, I'll correct that, thank you.
Good catch there, Marge.
Thank you, Marge.
Everybody done? I move to make motion to accept the minutes as they stand with the amendment to the attendance.
Sure. All in favor?
I need a second, sir.
Second?
All in favor?
Okay,
All
the,
in favor?
board meeting from last May 21st, we will close it and it's approved. Thank you. Okay, let's move to, public comments, please.
Yeah,
Sir?
Yeah, I submitted a letter of inquiry late last week. I was wondering if there's information available on that issue.
So, he's discussing about,
Yeah, if you hadn't gotten to it yet, it's late last week, so.
it's in your
Yeah.
file.
Yeah, we reviewed them, we've seen it, there was a question with regards to, just clarification with regards to the definition for a benefits package. Clarity on that. Yeah, clarity on that, benefits package according to what, who's going to provide it,
This
in
is,
what ways?
the mechanism or the source of these things was, they were not,
What defined by the bank, is it a health package, financial, employment
were
package,
any
what
of
type?
you here at that time?
No, probably not.
How many years ago?
My best guess, I tried to build a timeline.
Okay, so
Okay,
when was
my
it?
best guess is, we were all told this in like 97.
Okay, all right, so it's
Yeah.
before our time.
Oh,
We
okay.
go through administrations and through just attrition
Okay.
and different, but, you know, it was back then, but we wanna gain more understanding with regards to.
Okay, well, there was, wow, the two big items, I don't remember all the items, the two big items.
Yeah, okay,
Was you never pay taxes again. Yes,
okay,
and you get, 20 years of an engineer's salary.
and that was promised by
This
law?
By, this office, that was the policy, everybody was told this, it wasn't just me.
Is there-
7 years ago. That's-
Yeah, no, but I know we went back, and Charlene took a look at that and we
You
didn't see
know,
that.
I spoke to you on the phone.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And,
I had phone
and at that
connection.
time,
Yes.
that was maybe probably a couple of days after you dropped the first letter, brought it to our attention, you brought it to our attention.
Mm.
And we looked past, in the past,
Mm.
and we couldn't find anything resembling anything that you were mentioning, any package, any benefits package, and so in our conversation, I know I told you that there's nothing that we found. You know, of course, I really don't know what else to say, but there's just no information on anything that resembles anything that you were talking about. And I don't know what more to say as far as executive director for CLB. I don't know anything else I could say about that.
But now that we have a,
Yeah.
you know, a little bit of a definition of what the benefits
Yeah,
package
those are
was.
two items.
No, if the more specific you are in your communications, the better it enables us to actually do the actual, look back and pull up the documents, you know. But, you know, as far as what I read, it honestly seems like I came in the back end of a conversation that, you know, anytime you have with the context of that conversation, I didn't understand
Sure.
what was being asked. And I was hoping to glean, or the board to gain more clarity as to what was perceived to be, promised or that, so that we can actually go back specifically. I didn't know the timeline of when it was done, or when the communications happened, so now we have a timeline, 1997. We can go back, approximately, yeah, we know that, we can go back and we can take a look at, exactly, the laws that were in place at that time, because from 1997 to this time, there's
It's been a little while,
they can change.
yes.
But even with that or without that, my understanding of the board and in reading the board's responsibilities, we clearly have no authority, with regard to, payment and or non-payment of taxes, that's not our jurisdiction. And or the salary level for, that you mentioned, something for 20 years?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
that
sounded
was
like
way
a lump
outside
sum.
our, that's way outside our. Yeah, so that, we clearly, that's not within our jurisdiction at all. And so if something was made, I don't know what transpired, I'm not even gonna guess, because these two issues that you mentioned here, and if there are only two of several others, these are clearly way outside the scope of what we do here.
That's correct.
Could you refer me to a person or agency that I should be dealing with on this matter, or who might know? Likely in the public, it would be known in that everybody was told this, it wasn't me
Back in
specifically.
97.
Yeah, so
I
maybe
can't-
there are
I
people
can't-
around.
We
who-
can't speculate, I
Yeah.
can't.
You know, if you're saying everybody was told, I would imagine this issue would have come to this board over the last 27 years, right?
Right.
And so,
Well,
this is the first I've heard of it, at least in the last 5.
Sir, was this, told to you verbally or
it
was
verbally,
it writing?
they offered no documents, no signatures are required, nothing like that, but, given that the term was 20 years, I don't expect that there were too many people that took them up on the offer. The sacrifice was huge, but,
That's the first
at the
I've heard
time,
about
that was
that.
the price for the future, that was it. You had to do that, or go to the Navy for 20 years and come back, you know, something like that.
Oh, we
Many
don't,
things revolved around 20, you know.
that's, way beyond our scope here. We don't handle issues like that, sir. To send you somewhere to get more advice or,
Information.
I don't know where to send
If
you.
it was a law or anything, then it would be the legislature, the archives,
Compiler.
and compiler of public laws.
Yeah,
I would speculate, especially with regards to the tax exemption, that's something that would
For
be.
taxes exemption, that would be Department of Revenue tax.
Yeah.
Right.
And this thing about the salary,
We don't deal with
We
setting
don't
salaries
do that
or
at all,
awarding
yeah.
salaries unless they're within our department or become a public employee.
yeah, so unfortunately, at least the way I see it right now, there's nothing this board can do. This is not within our
Right.
jurisdiction.
What
right?
recommendation is to check with the legislature to see whether they, within the archives, and, you know, to see what laws were on the book with regards to, tax exemptions, to individuals that, obtain, you know, what you were saying, 20 years of experience. And I believe your area of expertise is
Oh, air
electrical?
conditioning.
Oh, HVAC, yeah, okay. Yeah, that would be my best recommendation for, to find it. Yeah. If anything, it has to do with tax exemption. We don't,
That's
it's not
not
in
our-
our wheelhouse, that's not in our purview,
Nope, not at all. Neither one of these, yeah.
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 And I can't speculate on who told you or whether they were in the right, position to promise anything like that.
Well, in those days, there were only 2 people here stationed in the office.
Yeah,
The woman worked the counter, and there was a guy who, I guess, did the interviews.
yeah, I honestly don't even know who those would be, yeah.
All right, that's the word for the day, huh?
Yeah.
Sorry.
But, you know, the
Sorry, yeah,
recommendations, tax exemption, rev and tax, and, if there was a law in place, go to the legislature and see if they have it in their archive.
Archive. Okay, how far back do your records go here?
I'd have to check and see.
Five
There
years,
are.
5 years at the most, yeah?
Yeah, with,
5
there,
years,
there's record retention, rules with regards to that. I don't know the particulars with regards to record retention within each agency, but,
7 years.
7 years.
7 years, I believe,
7
so.
years.
Yeah, the
That's a
best thing
little bit
would, yeah, well, that's
Probably.
dictated by law, but, we don't set those. But the legislature in their archive should have. I don't think they have any retention issues with regards to historic records.
All right, well, they.
But I appreciate
I will
your
look
letter
into it.
and coming to
Thank
speak
you.
with us.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to the section reports, please. Administrative Division, Margie Guerrero.
Okay, the following is the administration section report as of close of business June 13, 2025. 2025 contractors information expiring June 30. Active contractors 1,006. Inactive contractors 30. Master electrician 34. Total of 1,070. There are 7 new licenses received after the last administration section report on May 21st, 2025. Okay, the listing is on the attachment. Sole proprietor, total of 2. Corporation, 2. LLC, 3. Total of 7. Total 2026 year renewal license received from March 15, 2025 to June 13, 2025, 416. That includes the inactive. The CLB revenue funds collected from October 1st, 2024 to June 13, 2025, $452,015.
That's been deposited to the account, right?
It's what's posted, yes.
Okay.
I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, sir.
So they expired June 30th, and are they in the process of coming in to get it renewed, or?
Yes,
Okay, and staff-wise, we're okay handling that amount?
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
We're good.
Okay. Carry on. That's it? Any more?
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, just to inform the board, Ms. Lily Santos' effective date of retirement was last Friday.
Oh.
Over 37 years of Guam service.
She didn't say goodbye, are you kidding me?
She'll be back, she visited us a couple of times after.
Okay, okay, all right. We wish her well. Okay, next item, investigation division, Ms. Nita Bailey.
Thank you and good morning. Our investigation section report of June 18, 2025. Open cases 6, number of citation issued 1, amount of fines to date 15,000 and building permit 67. The open cases, number 1, case number 2021-0904, Idilao versus Menzies. It's still on pending hearing status. No, nothing, new information from the legal counsel.
What about any clarification from the airport with us?
Yeah, I spoke actually to the complainant, and according to him, the settlement that was made there is not connected to the complaint here. They just settled to just drop the case, the appeal that was, that's just that so they can reopen the announcement again for repeating. So I think that's why when they had a RFB and they have advertised it, because they're still in emergency procurement if that what you call that if what they are trying to contest is not gonna stop, then the airport is still gonna be under an emergency. So once that was settled, the airport opened it up for a rebidding. So I think they had won on the rebidding now.
Okay.
Yeah. But as far as the case here, he's even trying to make a follow-up also with the AG, you know, how we can proceed with it.
So as of now, it just remains open.
It still remains open, until the AG could assign a Well, we have a hearing officer, but then again, the scheduling with our attorney, because our, legal counsel is not able to, have this case. So we're looking
Okay.
for
I have
another.
a question.
Okay. Go ahead.
I have a question about, since it's been so long, but if, it's in the AG's office and we've done all we can do we still need to have it on our open cases? I mean, it's something that's, it
Looks
should
bad.
be resolved, it
Yeah,
should be
I
out of it already.
Been here for longer than us.
I know, but if we're going to, well, if you recommend to not to report it, you know, but,
Now, in the settlement, you said that they settled so that they could move forward with the bidding, but it's not this case.
it's not this, it's not our soul. We're still, owed, 300,000 plus by, Menzies, which, you know, they're,
They never paid us?
they're contesting still, so we cannot move forward. We issued a citation, but of course,
Okay.
they're contesting the
How long can they
citation,
contest
so.
and how can we settle this? How do we settle this and get paid?
Well, I thought,
That's
I
what
thought we got the money.
We really
No.
need, yeah, we cannot.
Is it the AG's office and the representation from the AG's office? Is
Yes,
there a way to press upon them that these
I mean,
funds?
we went to our attorneys, we went above that, and then we went directly to the Attorney General.
Yeah.
So,
And their response was?
their response, sir, was that they assigned a judge to go, to look over our case, and then after that, we're still pending an attorney to represent CLB. That never came.
We
And
have,
and everything is chronicled, everything is listed and
Yes.
everything, to make sure that we
we have.
have every communications.
All the communication is, you know,
Documented.
on track with our office. Yeah. It's the same also with, case number 2, all we're waiting for is a go signal from the legal counsel, because this is an appeal. If the appeal is valid or not, all he has to do is affirm that the case is not valid anymore because it exceeded the 15 days that they're supposed to file an appeal. That's the only thing that we're waiting for. If you say that the appeal is not valid, then of course the citation is, they have to pay for it, enforce it. So we're stuck on these 2 legal matters here. Okay, so.
I mean, we could send another email, do another follow-up, something that we've done already so many times.
Number 'em? Number the.
What does legal say is, what's our next,
Or do we not
Avenue.
have an attorney assigned to us?
That's the one that we're waiting for because we have a hearing officer, which is Mr. Rivera. But our own attorney, Mr. Keeler, cannot, he's going to find another assistant AG again to represent us because
That
he
was
has
the
a,
last word.
because he has a conflict.
oh,
But that was the last word,
That
that
was
there was
the
a
last.
sign.
And how long ago was that?
But 4 months.
3 months, 4 months ago,
Months. Maybe
beginning of this
5,
year,
yeah, maybe 5 months.
beginning of this year.
And that was the last word, that they were gonna sign it
Of
to
course,
us.
with regards to,
AG?
AG not performing the duties necessary for us to.
you just
conduct
gotta,
our own.
you gotta document, I
It's
didn't know.
documented.
We just write something, I
Is
forget
there
the
a
email.
complaint process?
It
Yeah.
is documented.
I don't know.
He's the, I mean, besides him, it's the governor.
Unless like
I mean, he's
before,
a-
you know, that they wanted to get like our own legal counsel, if we have the money,
Menzies is contesting the citation,
yeah.
what are they, they're just saying it verbally, is there writing?
No,
Okay.
they have to file.
There is a lot of
They're filing
documents.
against us, or what is it they're doing?
They have issues to answer, you know, to our citation, so all of those were forwarded to our legal counsel.
I think we just send a strongly worded, reminder notice to legal counsel and advise them of all these issues that need to be settled, because sometimes the courts will decide, if you sit back and don't do anything,
Then
Yeah.
it doesn't mean anything.
then it doesn't mean anything.
Right.
We need to say,
Statutes of
we
limitations
need
Yeah,
come into play.
yeah.
I'm concerned
we
about
need to
the
cover ourselves,
the statute.
send it to legal counsel so that the onus is on legal counsel
Number one,
and make it strong.
communicate to Keeler and ask him to identify if there's any statute issues. So that he acknowledges whether there are or not. And if any inaction by the office of AG is, you know,
His boss?
no, with the AG's office, brings about a violation of, or a violation of the statute of limitations, then it was through, I wouldn't say ineptness, but just,
So should I?
through their actions,
Inaction.
you know, it lapsed.
Like, we lost
So
revenue.
that we don't take the heat for it, we need to make sure. Have him identify whether there's any statutes, that way he acknowledges if there are, that he acknowledges it and that he is aware that, you know, it's since 2021, September. And, that, maybe if it's close, then maybe that'll light a fire, to get this done. But we need to make sure that we identify if there's a statute of limitations on it. Second, to obtain an acknowledgement from the AG's office, if there is one, so that they are aware and they know we're aware, and that the onus is on them to meet that requirement.
If we should lose that citation, that's a big loss for us.
No, and we have to make sure that it's evidence that we have done all we can on our side.
Right.
That-
And we were assisted by, the assistant AG in that citation, correct?
yes.
In drafting the citation,
Sandra,
right?
Sandra was
Yes.
the one,
Sandra,
yeah,
okay.
that, helped us to.
Even more so, you could mention that as well,
The
Yes.
citation.
yeah.
It's their own people that drafted it, assisted in drafting it, so
Yeah.
what's the holdup?
Should we draft a letter and attention, attorney, AG Mueller?
We already did.
Is that going
Post
directly
haste,
to him
and
or is
another
it?
one, we have to do it
Okay,
consistently.
another
Let's
one,
do it frequently.
probably another one asking for the statute.
And then, no, yeah, and then also when we communicate, fourth, you know, fourth time, you know, this is the fourth time, fifth, sixth, how many times, so it
Basically,
shows.
yes.
It
Basically
shows.
to our legal counsel, and then you could CC the AG.
Yeah. Just to make sure that everything is listed, and that at no time do we give up or just sit back and not communicate, because I can't, you know, it looks really bad to have this 4 years on, for it to be outstanding. And I don't know, sometimes people just wait until the
So
statute.
you're recommending to our attorney and CC the Attorney General, are you
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, absolutely,
So refer to Keeler, okay.
yeah, keep it
Because
all
we
the
went
time,
directly
and
to
also
the Attorney General
to
after
the
that.
both.
We've tried Attorney Keeler.
And if we
then-
wanna do a letter that you know, puts it all down on all communications, outlines it, and with dates, and that's fine, so be it, so that the Attorney General has an idea of this long-standing, outstanding, case that we have.
Right.
And that they know that we have been keeping track of all communications, and that it needs to be
In
addressed.
fact, he asked for a copy of all the emails.
Yeah, yeah. We
Right,
need-
Chair, and we give it to him
We
too.
need to do it, keep
So-
it there, and then if
Yeah.
possible, if there's no activity or no action, then we look to what is the next recourse.
Okay,
Okay, so number 3, case number 2025-0102, M. Klosik versus Ligao. This is the retaining wall problem. So the plan has been approved. The project is ongoing with an expected completion date of 60 days. 2 more months to complete because I guess the weather and everything. So the latest communication we had with the contractor is they have 60 days to complete this retaining wall. That
This is
was
Vergara Heights.
yeah, that was redesigned. So, but aside from that, there's also another revision for the house, but that's not really the concern of the complainant. He's just more concerned about the retaining wall. So they're working on it.
Any fines here? Are we
did
looking at
not-
finding anyone? No,
Because
as long as
they followed all
Okay.
the plan
Good.
and, you know,
Okay.
approved by, of course, all the agencies. So number 4,
So
case,
60 days is a hard date?
Yeah, because we have to wait for curing and everything like that, because the design of this is a cast in place kind of,
Right.
you know, a different,
Seems kinda short, that's a
Yeah.
big wall that they're putting up.
It's
I don't know
very
if 60
high.
days is gonna be enough.
well,
Either way, as long as it gets done.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's just like estimating if the weather is good, he's estimating it to be completed in 2 months. They already started, you know, I don't know what stage they
Arena
are.
started.
How far have they gone? Rebar?
They really
Putting?
when they did like the first, like
The
maybe
the
8
first layer
feet
of,
up of the
8 feet
casting
maybe.
place.
How tall is this retaining wall gonna be?
So I believe the revision has it staggered down, just how the topography of the property.
At its
So-
highest point.
Like a terrace?
Yeah.
Which would be the highest, would be the corner part of the property where it's adjacent to the homeowner in the back, the complainant.
So the highest point is how at the, is
20
that
feet
20
or
feet?
how?
I don't have that exact number, I can.
Very far, yeah,
It's high.
I think could be, yeah.
Probably
Because
higher than 20
it's,
feet.
high.
You mentioned,
Have you seen it?
you mentioned about weather?
It's right at the bottom of.
They mentioned too that if the weather is good, they can
This-
complete it in 2
hillside
months,
that's-
but if the rain keeps
That
in,
fell.
then,
They can pour a wall even if it's,
I know, but,
yeah.
yeah. But at least, you know, we have a deadline, so at least we're looking at something, we're not just looking at like, there
Okay.
is
I mean,
no,
there's no recourse if they don't meet the deadline?
well, maybe we'll
Maybe
go
it's
back
a
to that.
contractual,
Yeah, that's
contractual
another,
with
yeah.
regard to the.
Our inspectors are joining you as well?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, those
Okay.
guys, Pete and Benny are on top of
Okay.
that project. On that case.
Okay, so number 4, case 2025-0103, TH Scam versus DBI. This was the case that we were discussing last board meeting regarding that unfinished renovation work. And he was saying that the reason why he did not finish it is because DPW told them that it's unsafe and everything, but everything that he was saying is nothing documented. It's all hearsay. So we just decided to give him a fine of 5,000 for abandonment.
So did he go back and finish the work?
Somebody else
Another
did,
contractor.
another contractor.
Was he
finished.
bonded? Was there bonding?
That was the
Wouldn't really know the
That's not a
thing about
question.
the contractual agreement between, but then the thing is, he just decided not to finish it, and the consumer has to make another
What was
contract.
the total amount of the contract, do we know?
It is 157,000.
Yeah, we gotta get hold of
Need a bond that.
157. So we were wondering why, if he's saying that it's unsafe, how did the other contractor was able to get a permit to continue, you know? So, and he could not give us
Probably
any,
he's finding out he's losing money. on his project.
yeah, probably any.
Who's this DBI Inc.?
Mr. Kim also.
J. Kim
J.
is the owner. J. Kim.
Another,
JAE?
J-A-Y.
JAY.
yeah, so we issued a citation already for him and, for his violation.
He said that he had engineers come and check in, and I asked him, can you just give me a report of any of them that ever
So,
gave
so
anything?
the only thing that is going to be done to him is the $5,000 fee? There's
First
no,
offense, it's a first
And then
offense.
it'll go on his, that letter of good standing,
Right,
case
yeah.
number.
He will be,
it'll be marked.
marked, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so,
Can you go back to,
where,
you skipped one.
which one?
Did we skip two?
Number
I think
2,
two
Harmony
is-
Construction?
Which one did I skip? Harmon?
Painting road.
Oh, yeah,
The Andrada,
I-
Jam, JAM.
oh, I'm on to that now,
Okay.
number 5. Because I have 6 only, right, JAM is the same legal hearing. Also, number 5 is case number 2025-0402, Andrada versus JAM. This is a completed project already, but there are a lot of workmanship issues also. Ms. Andrada actually hired a consultant, but it seems like she also has a problem with her consultant, and the consultant is actually a PE. So we advise that she will file her complaint as far as the PE to the appeals board. But on the side of the jump construction, the investigators went out and did their site investigation the other day, so they're creating a punch list now, and, which will be, approved by, the homeowner and, the contractor, so they can start, moving forward with the repair. With the punch list.
Who's Sheila Reed Bryant?
Shillery Prime is the consultant, Selvin Salco. He's a PE, and he's supposed to be overseeing this project with, Mrs. Andrada hired him, but obviously he did not also perform his work.
Okay.
But it's not under us because he's a PE, so he could go to,
PE Civil?
Silva, yeah. Could go to Phil's court.
Okay.
So,
So if I can, Mr. Chairman, the last week or the week before last, there was a public hearing on a bill that would, what did it do? It had to do with, certified home inspectors. And these certified home inspectors, I understand there's 3 in Guam, I never knew that until the hearing. But these certified home inspectors actually it's a 1-year online course through the International Association of American Home Inspectors, something like NACHI, something like that, that's the acronym. And the deal was that, it would authorize them to act on behalf of Public Works to do final home inspections for occupancy, for insurance purposes, or even for purchase. Say like if you wanted to buy a home, right? You hire this guy, you pay him $500-600. He goes in there and he looks at the home and everything, and that's in addition to the, what do you call that? The appraisal. So you might have the appraisal, then you have a home inspection that says, oh man, you know.
Yeah, you use it for negotiations with.
Yeah,
the
exactly, you know,
contractors.
this outlet's not working, this faucet isn't up to speed, blah, 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 blah. But, that's just as an FYI to us, that may be coming down the pike, and if that does, that could open up a whole new field of home inspectors that, you know, if I was paying for a $600,000-700,000 home, I'd spend the $500-600 for the guy to go in there and do exactly what we're looking at here. Take care of that punch list and make sure it's done, plus.
Mm-hmm.
So just, be aware of that, I forget the bill number, maybe you can look it up,
So,
JP,
yeah, we can look at that,
and just
if that goes
keep an eye on
to,
it.
if that goes to the legislature from Public Works, would you go to the legislature and? for it?
I testified already.
Okay,
In
okay.
concept, we're okay with it,
In concept.
yeah, but the way I was looking at it was that our inspectors would have to take that course. But the way the author, and the realtors were looking at it, is that would open up private sector, opportunity.
Would that supersede or negate the Public Works?
No, not at all.
Okay, not at all.
Yeah, we still, so, but, you know, the way I'm looking at it, it would be incumbent upon us to, you know, to better ourselves,
Right.
better public safety, so we're looking into having a couple of ours take that course, and it's online.
Okay.
That was just an FYI.
Certification recognized here on island?
It's national, yeah, I don't know if you need anything statutory to recognize that, but, you know, it's a national thing, so it's no different than CPA or, I mean, well, I guess it is, we have a local, just like Guam Bar, right?
Bars, right?
Yeah,
There's a
medical, yeah.
certification for
Director,
that.
just on a side note to that, if one of your inspectors gets certified, but can they, or will they be allowed to do something, for example, on Saturday, work for the private company to do that? I'm just asking for.
They probably could, but they, you know, they need authorization from us.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I know that's
Outside.
Now, you know, even if it's national, you know, there's certain things with regards to the homes that are built here that are unique to.
But it seems to be pretty thorough, so, you know, that's certainly an opportunity.
Yes.
Yeah, good.
Retire and become.
Continue?
Okay, so the last case, okay, number 6, case number 2025-0501, Neil Abib, GPF Corporation versus Terias Inc. This is a non-payment of subcon. The GPF had supplied some plans to Terreyas, but they haven't paid him. So we have communicated with Mr. Terreyas, and he acknowledged that, you know, he owed this company, and he kept promising that he's gonna pay and drop off the check since last week. So we're giving him another week, but he's already on the red flag. So if he
Terreyas?
could not, yeah.
What's the
Terreyas.
amount, Ms. Nina? I didn't know the amount that is owed.
It's 32,000, I think. Yeah,
Time out. You said he's already red flagged prior to this?
No, but we flagged him
Flagged him
because
after
he
this
just
complaint.
he just keeps saying to Aaron that, okay, I'm gonna give you, I'm gonna talk to my accountant, how, you know. I said, he doesn't have to talk to his accountant, he's the one writing the check. He can say,
So,
he can say.
Director, there's been a pattern with this individual.
Mhm.
There's been a
He's
pattern.
a late payer.
He's a late
non-payer.
payer, he's a
Yeah.
late payer to subcontractors. This is probably the third time we encountered the other.
Terreyes is the subcontractor or he's the main contractor?
Therese is the sub,
Excuse me?
the main is Chuga, and Chuga paid Therese also for these
Oh,
plans.
too much.
Yeah, they have, you know.
Then where does Neil Abid and GPF Corporation
GPF
come in?
is the one that supplied,
Prepared
yeah, they were the one that has the plans, you know, to
Prepare the
supply to the
plans.
base, but, to Chuga, which is
It's a sub-
subcontracted
it's a
by
subcontractor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Double
yes.
sub.
It's a big contract, it's a big contract, and this is a little guy, and it's been a pattern with this contractor, so, and that's why he's red flagged, and we really
He's
wanna,
floating at the
it's hard to
top.
bring the individual in.
What does Giovanni say from Chugas?
Yeah, that would be something.
Actually, they don't have any violation, they paid Terreyes, it's in Terreyes now to pay
I know, but,
GPF.
but that would be something that they'd be concerned with because it would
Yeah,
impede on
yeah.
the subcontractor's ability to.
Chugas Alaska
But that's neither,
will,
not us.
will take a handle of this.
Contract.
Yeah.
The mother company, Chugas Alaska,
Yeah,
they're gonna wanna find out what's going on,
Mhm.
and it's gonna come down the pipeline. Because Chugas won't allow that. They're the
Mhm.
prime, he's the sub, they don't want stuff like that,
Yep, neither does the federal government.
and the federal government.
I would suggest we just talk to them one more time and, you know, give them a drop dead date, and if not, we will find them as well, so their costs are gonna go up.
Sure.
Okay.
We could tack on an additional 3,000, 5,000.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it would impact their license or
Yeah,
the license.
yeah. And let them know they're red flag. For what, 30,000? He can't pay it? Is that the amount?
That's the amount, 32,000.
And he already
32,000.
received payment
He
from
already
the,
received payment from Chuga, but he's not paying it to, the supplier.
The project is done,
Mhm.
the project is done.
Okay.
There's part where they call it, there's a, when the prime pays the sub, and the sub pays whoever, there's a certified payroll they have to produce, where did that money go? And who accepted that money? So that needs to be, that needs to be documented.
Yeah, everything Therese is like really just kind of keeps saying, okay, tomorrow, but we have enough of that, so we gave him a deadline, and as of now, he hasn't renewed his license yet, he's in the red, unless he clears, you know, this obligation, he cannot, you know, we cannot give him, a renewal.
so does he have a valid, is
It's
he
not
operating
renewal at all.
legally now?
Well,
Paid
until
us
the end of
30,000.
June.
Yeah, we're still
He
in the
only,
beginning.
until the end of June, if he could not, then we will not renew.
More to come on that.
Okay. We're done?
Oh, I'm done,
Good?
thank you so much, yeah.
Okay, okay, go ahead, Director. Your turn.
Good morning, everyone. Update regarding disposition of fees. The total amount of funds carried over was $163,899.99. All funds have been loaded into our account, and requisitions are being prepared to purchase much needed equipment. This is a I wanna just say that this is a big deal. It's the first time that we've, in a long time, that CLB has ever had this kind of money to take care of items, so we're on a shopping spree. We acquired a 2016 Chevy Colorado pickup truck, 4-door. Yes, for $14,000. Vehicle replacement progress. We are currently working on General Services Administration to procure an additional vehicle to replace the Nissan Frontier. Communications have been positive, and we anticipate having a necessary number of vehicles to meet the agency's operational requirements by July. Computer systems upgrade. As you know, all the Guam agencies are going through the same thing. As previously reported, efforts to replace soon to be obsolete computers are underway. The procurement process has begun, and we remain on track to complete the transition prior to October. So we have the funds. We're just doing the necessary documentation to fulfill the requirements, but we have the funds. Procurement of laptop computers. We are in the process of acquiring laptop computers to enhance daily operational efficiency. We are getting 2 laptops. Uniforms and personal protective equipment. Uniforms and essential personal protective equipment are being procured to better equipment and investigation division. So that's been processed already. Investigation division workplace enhancement. We are in the process of ordering cubicles for the investigative site. There'll be 4 individual. It's the first upgrade for the past how many years? So it's gonna help. It gives a little bit more privacy for the reports and all that. So it's a good addition to the investigative side. We're getting smart boards. I don't know if everyone attended those smart boards presentation. It's really gonna bring us to modern time as far as, for example, if they took pictures and everything, we can blow them up and we can. So we're working on getting smart boards for our agency. Process modernization collaboration with Sanford. We're working on obtaining a new ID machine. Working on our database where we do our paperwork. Eventually goes into a database so that we can. It's gonna basically move a lot from paperless.
You're gonna digitalize.
Yeah. Data storage also, we're working on that. So we're really, we're not just inquiring, we're actually processing some of these, so we're in good shape, we're in very good shape.
With regards to your software, hardware, database, did we have a consultant do that, or did we, is it an off-the-shelf purchase, or
We're working with Sanford, and we're basically.
Stanford?
Yeah, Stanford. We're gonna work with their recommendation. Basically, we're gonna say what we want, and they're gonna present what is best to meet our needs. So, that's about it, for director's report.
If I can, Mr. Chairman? Yeah, you know, at the last meeting, and it's in the minutes also, I just pulled it out. Remember we talked about, I think, again, we had occupancy issues. And, I brought up the subject matter of perhaps surveying contractors, surveying homeowners, or even commercial homeowners when the projects are done, that we as a government entity, do surveys, you know, how was your contractor? But it's gotta be a scientific survey, not just something where just say rate A to B or 1 to 5, it's something fairly substantial. So, you know, it's not just a matter of putting the contractors on notice, but it's also, it's help
consumers.
help safeguarding the consumer.
Yeah.
So, you know, we know who's out there, the consumer knows who's out there, but you know, I don't want it to be a pointing the finger session. I want it as technical as possible. If you have an issue with a contractor, you have to have certain criteria and certain facts, you know, no different than the individual that was just here. I mean, if you're gonna make a statement, or if you're, back it up, yeah. So if we can, you know, maybe either direct the staff or just ask the director here to at least start thinking about it. What could we, I don't know if other counties do that, you know, that's what I usually do, is, you know, if we're looking to start something new in Guam, see what they do in the States or other jurisdictions. and I'm sure they do. You know, they,
There are other websites that rate contractors.
Yeah, we
that are
can check
private.
NASCLA.
Yeah.
NASCLA
Yeah.
is the
And then
number one.
they have what it exactly, and it
So
shows.
it's something like an outreach
yeah,
program.
yeah.
Just
And
they-
just keep tabs on them and, you know, if consumer comes in here and says, you know, I'm looking to get this contractor, blah, 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 do you have anything on him?
Correct.
You look up in our database and see
And
what
this
we
is
have.
actual data, and you know, with regards to our issuance of in good standing, we taking into consideration complaints or anything like that, but the rating system would be an actual real life from, you know, customers.
I mean,
individuals.
everybody does it.
Right.
You see it online when you rate
Choosing
a
a car
restaurant
or
or
a
Yelp,
restaurant
you
or
know,
anything.
4 or 5 stars, 1 star, and then you have your actual comments, and then let the consumer choose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it also,
We'll-
it
we'll
behooves
research.
the contractors to be aware and to know that, you know,
Should we publicize that we have a
I-
program? We should start a
We
program
don't-
like
It
that?
we don't
could be in
have
a
any.
newsletter, it could be in our database, it could be on our website.
yeah,
Let's do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
it's public feedback.
Website. We got the website, so in our website, if you open the website now, you can see the contractors that's
Open
licenses
cases.
are suspended, you know,
Yeah.
everything is
Yeah,
there.
but you gotta look at them on our
I'm just,
website.
I'm just taking it a step further. I
Yeah.
don't wanna make a motion now,
Yeah.
I'm just suggesting
just-
that,
yeah.
that,
Look
you
into
know,
it.
management and staff look at it and maybe report
Yeah.
in a couple more meetings from now.
It
What's the hurry for it?
enhances our responsibility to the consumer to make sure that they get the adequate services.
It is our responsibility.
We also have a flyer that we're giving out. Can you get that flyer, like, how, you know, when you hire, you know, to hire a
Just
contractor?
10 rules,
Yeah,
and then, you know,
That's
we were.
that's
yeah.
best practices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in the end, you know, what are the results if you follow those 10 rules or best practices?
Right.
Did
Because I'm sure your inspectors know, no different than our inspectors know, they know who the, agua ones are out there.
oh, yeah.
And so you double check them, you know, and it's consumer awareness, that's all. Thank you.
Okay,
Okay,
we'll work on that, sir.
that's a good one.
Look into it.
Okay, so, let's move on down to old business. Board review of proposed update to CLB exams, proposed action to approve proposed updates to CLB law, C5, C18, and C40 to C51 exams. Can someone elaborate there?
Okay.
So we try to have a, I guess, work session, and that didn't work out. So we again still have these exams that are re-prepared. And that's an old business, so we still need to kind of process that. And that's the only thing on old business, but let me segue into the new business. The new business is to propose to the board that the director be given authority to implement proposed exams based on the approval of the board so that we can move these exams forward. And the reason that I really, it's very important for CLB is, obviously I stated in the past meetings that this is the last OPA requirement, so that we meet all 7 requirements, is the exams. And obviously, the exams take a long time to research and to reproduce and to get them ready. There's about 80 exams, and in the pace that we're going through these exams, it's really gonna take, current pace that we're taking, it's gonna take 6 to 7 years. That's what it's gonna take, because we've been working on these exams, how long, Ms. Nina? Since I arrived?
It's more than a year now,
2
yeah.
years, well, we get going 2 years, and we approved how many?
11.
11. So we have 80 exams total, so, and we haven't approved any exams as of
Yeah,
few months.
3 months.
3
Are
months.
we using existing industry standard exams as a reference with regards to, with any reference to them, with regards to,
There's a requirement that was
Yes.
approved by the board,
Yeah.
right?
and that we're using that based on the exams, also
The
industry standards.
competency, you know, the one that the board had recommended before, the subject matter,
Right,
we follow it.
yeah.
Competency, safety, regulations, everything is in this, in the study guide that we're giving and the exam also, so.
So the exams that were approved, that are implemented, have actually helped, a lot, because, there's a lot of clarity. I don't know when these exams were last made, I wanna say maybe 2009.
Beyond that, 1990s.
97, I think
1997.
2009 is,
Yeah,
is the date in which you guys are
94,
bringing
90.
up to.
We have 94,
Right, yeah.
97.
Not when it was last
Oh, yeah,
time.
so to that point, I think, just based on the exams that were approved and we're pushing on and that we're examining has helped a lot, with the people coming to exams, and they're not easy exams, but there's a good, mixture based on the board, again, approval of the requirements that has to be on the exams, there's a good mix in it. And of course, as everyone knows, before the exam is given to an individual, he's vetted based on his experience and everything. So I think with those different areas of, before an individual is able to take the exam, I think we pretty much can filter out who is qualified to take the exam. And then the exam is just the different parts of being a contractor
Like the
license.
codes and the
Yeah, yeah,
standards, you know,
yeah.
industry
Yeah, yeah,
standards
yeah.
are all,
So,
you know.
It's a big ask from the board. If,
So what do you propose in
If-
order to meet,
Yeah.
we set a time where the OPA, did he set a time, drop dead date or
no,
on
so,
it to say when it's gonna be done? And,
because,
because 7 years is not realistic,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, so there's no drop dead date, there are just requirements that need to be, fixed. We've accomplished the 6. This, and as we all know, the reason why it's gonna take long is because there's just so much of it. And that's the big ask from the office, is that if the board can delegate that authority so that, myself and the team can look through the exams and,
Special committee.
yeah.
So, these exams we're talking about needs to be improved. Is that what I'm
Updated,
hearing?
yeah,
Updated.
They're outdated.
yes.
Do you guys have a template already that we can look at to approve?
Well, they.
Everything, we've been
everything.
giving
So
this.
all of the exams have already been, there's a draft for every single
No.
exam.
No, they're just doing it piecemeal, you know, 5 at a time, 4 at a time.
So-
It really takes
Yeah,
time.
the goal is to standardize it to multiple choice because a lot are
Right,
essay.
right.
Essay still, so we are doing this,
So how many are currently on deck to be reviewed?
to be approved now is
Three?
4,
3 or 4?
I think, or 5 including the law.
Just keep.
Because we've been, actually, the C5 has been given to the board before, but it was not, approved, so we have 4 now that needs to be approved, the C5, C18, the HVAC, and the law. So 4 pending approval, which we already have, given to the board for,
So it's basically, we
So
can get
those-
it reviewed within the time frame we have for a regular board meeting, perhaps a subcommittee can be formed so that we can address it within a separate meeting.
that's what
That was
the
proposed before,
recommendation,
but
yeah.
then
It
we,
did not happen.
nobody showed up, and
Nobody showed up for the
there was a
work
date that was
session.
made, nobody, I
Work
mean,
session,
it's a very busy,
And also, the study guides and everything, they're being, sent through email also for advance, before the board meeting, for advance review. So when the board meeting comes, you know,
So those have been updated,
So we have
already,
5.
you just need our
an
approval.
approval only to implement it,
and the additional that we're asking for so that
Yeah,
it can be approved.
delegation.
The delegation, that's, I think, I know that's a big ask, and
It's
but
not
I
a big
know.
ask, cause it's a responsibility. And it was with the OPA.
So the delegation you're asking for is for you to make that decision and the team, and so the board is out of it for not approving it.
No,
No.
not necessarily.
No, we'll push out the study guides to the board as usual. Every time we have a exam to approve, push out the study guides, the board members will look to the study guides, have any issues, shoot it back to us, we'll look at it, and fix whatever concerns are. And then, move forward with the
No,
exams.
no,
The board is always
No, in the
welcome to come
process.
in and see the exams.
no, in the process, so let's say we have 5 on the table, does that, those not being passed stop you from creating new ones for the additional ones that are needed?
We just keep going, you
Okay,
know,
okay.
because we
And
have
what-
a lot to do, so.
Yeah, and what is the rate of going through, how many?
We're shooting
producing?
at like at least 3 every board meeting.
And that would put us at, how
We're
many?
shooting for 2, but we've been
And
actually
then,
able
so,
to
but at
Two,
that,
yeah,
but at
two.
that rate, that puts us out at 7 years, which is unacceptable, because we're already dealing with the 2009
Yeah.
standard, and we're
Right.
2025, so we'll be even
Right, man, that is.
further out from the 2029 level of rules and regulations and testing
Yeah.
criteria. That's why in previous meetings I was saying, why don't we just jump to the most current? That way, we don't have to worry, because by the time, 7 years from now,
We're using the current,
2032,
the public.
and we're
health.
using
Yeah.
2009, that's the same situation we are now with using 1997 test.
Can you explain to
Yeah, we're
Mr.
using the current, actually, if even if we have to go and look at the study guide and the exam for the B, we even have included there already the,
You updated
the
it too?
typical, yeah, the
Right, right.
typical energy
But
code.
look at it this way, what is documented is saying that we're using a 2009, and you can't refute that in any manner. It's still outdated, we're 2025.
And to work on that, we're trying to work so that they approve a more recent code. But
Yeah,
we're also-
GBCs,
We're
yeah.
actually working on that too, so that they can get organized and get together, and so we're working at it different angles. We're also working on that, and just last week, we spoke to Mr.
Brand.
Brand too, and they're trying to do what they can, but honestly, there's no real feedback on what they
There has
can
to be a catch-up, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
You know, and it's whether you catch up now or you fall further behind. I just
Some specialties,
understand.
it's not really, really like critical to, the only very important ones are like the general building.
Yeah.
That has to be with
And
the
that was
code.
the thing, going back to, our membership within the National Association of Things. How can we leverage that relationship in order for us to gain some sort of assistance with regards to this?
But some of, actually most of the topics also that we have included in the exam is from the California licensing board. They got all the topics there, how many percent of,
Do you have a copy of their test?
Yes, we do. We have it from California. And, the demolition, because Florida is almost similar to
Right.
ours here, so we use mostly Florida.
So in your opinion, how much of it actually translates into our test of what they use? They use in their test.
Maybe like, 80%, is, applicable
Yeah,
to
yeah,
what
yeah.
our code
Okay.
here, because our code is much higher than,
Right.
than the states, because of the typhoon, the earthquake.
Seismic, the seismic.
Understood. They have, oh God, if you could take a mixture between tornado or Hurricane Alley and,
Mhm.
on the East Coast and the seismic, codes in
So
California.
to answer your question, Mr. Cruz, is that there are limitations based on what's approved from our code, but we are trying to move the requirement, and not just because it's an OPA report, but also because it modernized our exams to at least more recent. It doesn't bring us up to date, but it at least brings up to more recent, And of course, we are trying to definitely move out of the SA
No, no, I
exams,
understand
yeah.
the reasoning for it,
Yeah.
to simplify, the grading process and standardize the grading process, and then, you know, less subjective and objective, you know, and objective answers, but,
Actually, on the HVAC here, this is actually, most of the exams here, we got it from, the academy.
yeah,
The
that's,
Grades
that's,
Academy?
that's all, I just wanted to, I don't need the
Yeah.
specifics, I
Yeah.
just wanted to know how much.
So, yes, that's,
I just wanted, you know, I wanna see, you know, the codes, the
Yeah.
test being done and completed before, you know, my term's up.
we're trying to work with the
Yeah,
powers
so,
that
so,
be.
so what do we do? How do we move forward? You know, like, you set a date for it to complete, and then you said, okay, we'll have to have X amount of tests, completed and approved within this time period. And then we work from there, and then we see whether we can arrange a subcommittee to meet, and the mandate is to review and process and approve X amount of tests in this time in order to meet that deadline. And then at least we know, it's not just saying, we'll go back and if it gets it done, then it says, so we set a framework and a time constraint, a timetable in which these things have to be done. And it'll be, so that we make sure that they're done within the allotted time so that we do meet the end time. That's all. So, we need to find out if we try to make it mandatory that, you know, we have to come and we have to sit down and we have to do it. We have to do it, because, ahead of time, you let us know. We make sure that it's, we set our schedules to make sure that we do this, because it's our responsibility, and then we have to do that. Because 7 years, I think is, you know, we can all agree is
So, if we go with
unacceptable.
what you're recommending, so we have a session that they come and review, and then when it's, I guess, completed, then bring it to the board on one of our board meetings, and then there approve it as
Yeah.
in quorum, okay?
Yeah.
So that's,
So that way we have progress instead of sitting back and saying we still have 5, you know, and then.
And so,
you know,
yes, and so-
So we make it more structured so that we have progress.
we could try it again, we tried it one time.
No, let's try it,
Yeah,
let's
we'll
get
try it
together
again.
and say, this is a thing, we need to do this, and everybody's made aware that, we're on the schedule and that this is what is
So-
expected.
So this ones that we have here now, it has been like presented, this is the third
Right,
meeting, so are we still gonna have to review it, or is it gonna?
like I
be-
said, let's do a subcommittee so that we do all the background work before. So when we present it, it's just, this is the final thing. We've already made the adjustments to where we thought, where the committee thinks. And then it's just to bring it up, yes or no, approve or not.
Okay, so,
And it's already gone through the committee and reviewed, and they've already hammered out all the things that they feel need to be improved.
Even
Nina,
Mr.
Nina.
Ariola's,
I got it. So we will do that, we will look for a date that closely fits the schedule of most of the members, and then we'll have whatever exams were completed, push it through then, and then
Right.
following board approve or not approve,
Yeah.
and then we'll just.
And do you have the resources in order to address it and to actually
Excuse me?
adequately go through it all? Go ahead.
Is this a working session that we couldn't,
Right.
Make it, yeah, no,
we
yeah,
can
yeah,
do? We,
yeah.
oh, okay, this is not the same one.
That was an attempt to do this, what we were going to
Okay,
do.
okay,
Work through it.
we were on the right track, but we just haven't been able to get everybody together to
Correct,
do
correct.
this. So Matthew, what you're suggesting is that, the staff there do their thing and then kind of bring it to us bullet points that may be an issue, instead of us going line by line, cause we're not, well, I'm not a.
No,
you know,
I'm
so
just
that-
saying,
is that what
exactly,
this is
to
coming
get
down
it to a portion, to a level that that it's hammered out, and it just comes to the body as a whole for,
Okay.
just approval.
Okay. I wanna
So
copy
it's the working session to hammer out all the things that need to be hammered, and then it's brought to the board as a whole for vote.
Okay,
For
all right.
7 years,
Okay,
I
I-
think that's,
okay.
and I.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, okay, so that took care of the new business.
I think we can look at those, test results or
Events.
yeah, the exams, but in a regular meeting, but we gotta eliminate some of these. Cause this what takes up our time here and not, if we can't make a work session, so if we kind of cut this short and we get into that right away, and then I think it'll be a good idea.
Can I ask, the exams are only in English?
Yes, there's a lot of issues, Director, there's a lot of issues
bet.
that we need to work. And to resolve that issue, we have certain individuals that we can call upon to be translators. So that's how we're remedying that, that's just our remedy, that's
But
our,
I understand that, multiple languages that are available, but all the parts and manuals that you're using for installations or anything that you use out there is all in English, so you need to know English. Whether it be,
Yeah, I'm sitting here, I'm listening to the discussion, and I'm saying, not only do we have the exam itself, but,
oh yeah, there's a lot.
we got contractors of
Yeah.
5 different nationalities, minimum.
Right.
So there's a whole bunch out there, and is it fair to just, while English is the approved language, and Chamorro is the two approved languages, are we hurting ourselves by not including those where English is a second language, and they have difficulty, reading that or comprehending that?
is there any statute that mandates that it has to be in multiple languages?
Is there?
I know that's something that
I don't know, I
can't
don't
be.
think so.
So,
Fair.
I mean, just to address that portion, and there are a few that request for translators. So that's our remedy for now, not a perfect solution, but that's just a remedy for now.
So we've had translators in here before?
We have, but a couple of individuals, different languages, mostly
No.
Asian.
Chinese and Korean
How do we
translators.
know the Chinese is not giving the
We
answer?
do have.
Because they're known to, individuals here are known to the
Court,
office
I
personnel.
think the Korean works for the court also, interpreter.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So-
if that's the basis of using them, then I can see
Yeah.
that.
So, and recently, a lot of the applicants are from the base.
Yeah, no.
So that's why if we're giving them a study guide that has some kind of a very obsolete, it's kind of like,
Cause the
it does not
standards
match,
of military contracting are,
that's why it's
Yeah.
really like
Yeah.
better for us to give them the updated
Yeah.
ones.
And I totally agree with everything that's being said, it's just gonna take time for us to get there.
and everybody says that it takes time, but we have to have a deadline, cause the excuse of
Well-
just that it takes time doesn't necessarily, it's not gonna wash, because it's just not, we have to get it done. It's not an excuse, it's not an easy task, but we can't say that
Well,
just
to get
because
these,
it's just because it's a very involved thing to happen is one thing. Do we have enough staff? If we don't have enough staff to get it done, then we have to put in, a request for increase in staff. But this thing has to be a priority.
just to get 2 exams done, so we're getting 2 a month.
Yeah, because we are rotating,
No, then it's a staffing issue.
too, but it's not only a staffing issue, but also like the one that's doing the test should have the knowledge,
Right, no,
of the
and-
industry. Because it's very hard to put it together if you don't really have the knowledge of the industry.
And are we going out for individuals like within the actual industries to come and assist, to review our tests, to make sure whether it meets real life when they're out there? Is it applicable or something like that, like GCA or Guam Trades Academy?
Yeah,
or
we're
anyone like that?
communicating, with the trades actually, we have our resources. And, also I could say like our investigators are like, they are learning a lot too,
Oh, yeah,
because
no.
these are the things that.
We know, it's, nobody can be an expert in everything, and the experience does bring that knowledge and that level of expertise. So, yeah, well, I understand that it's a huge task, I'm not saying that you're not doing your job, I'm just saying, how can we help you? And how can we get it to a point where we're moving efficiently and we're getting everything done adequately? And you know, I acknowledge that we're understaffed, and I acknowledge that all of you guys work hard, I'm just saying, do you need help? That's it, that's all. Yeah, I'm not saying that anybody's not doing their job, I'm just saying, I know all you guys are doing your job, I'm just saying, do you need help? And then always come to the situation, if you need help and you're being overwhelmed, and we're not gonna meet the deadline, then how do I get what I need to do my job, and do it efficiently, and have the proper support to do it? You know, cause asking you to do the impossible is not bad, we have to make sure, but making sure that we recognize that this is a priority is something, so we, you know, if we can, and if we have any resources, or we can get any resources to you to get, for us to get it done, then that's what we need. But we need to recognize that if the task is too much for the current work, your current workload, because I know you have a lot of other stuff to do. Okay, that's just it, just recognize that,
So do we
because this
wanna-
has to be done.
Do we wanna continue to try to review the exams?
We have to review them,
Let's go.
you know,
It's
it's just a matter of scheduling.
Yeah, let's do another one, and
Do you wanna do a whole thing or sub it?
Sub
and
it,
then report?
cause there, you know, I don't know about everybody's workload. So, you know, every time we have to wait for everybody's 100% participation in it.
it's, I think it's like mandatory that we all come in one
Yeah,
day.
just remember, once we approve that, we're
Yeah.
responsible
Right.
for those
Right,
exams.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah, and so, I mean, even myself, right, I didn't make any of the workshop, but I've read through that, and before I vote aye or nay, you know,
Oh,
I'm
sure.
gonna wanna know what the heck's in that exam.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
that's fiduciary
Yeah,
responsibility,
Okay.
and every decision that we make here, you know, through that fiduciary responsibility, we are
Let's do
held
it.
liable.
so maybe if we don't do it before the next meeting, at the next meeting, try to keep the agenda as short as possible, and then just go into workshop.
That's
So
right.
it's,
Yes.
you know, it's not public.
Okay,
That would be one thing, otherwise, like Matt suggested, we do a subcommittee. 2 or 3 of us go through it, report to the board,
and even in that subcommittee, if we can have someone else, you know, from the industry come in and assist, that with some input, that would be great.
Okay.
Just
So-
to get it moving on, you know, cause 7 years, I know, you know, that was what
You
your
set it
estimate.
up, right?
And I know
Yeah.
that's
There's
the
no
estimate,
division.
no, that's the estimate with your current, you know, workload and then the current staffing. So I'm not saying that's a bad thing, it's probably a very realistic with the
Yeah.
current, staffing that you have, but I'm just saying, 7 years is just darn long. Yeah.
Okay, so,
I won't be here.
anything else? Anything you wanna discuss, Erica?
No, I'm good, I'm good.
Matt,
So we'll
Nikki,
schedule
anything else?
No.
subcommittee meeting?
Rita, got anything?
I'm good. Thank you. I'm listening to the whole thing.
Okay. All right then. No questions at this time? Let's move on to the announcement, scheduled regular board meeting for July 16, 2025 at 10 a.m. All in favor to adjourn this meeting?
Or, I move to adjourn.
Second,
Second,
okay?
All in favor? Aye.
aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your efforts. Seriously, I'm not coming down on you, I'm just trying to see. I know you guys